Hey, gangsters. Matt with some improv chat here at your service. Um, I was just looking at videos as it relates to stage fright and performance anxiety, performing in front of a camera, etc. And I don't really like what a lot of the. I was on YouTube, and I don't really like what a lot of the instructors and the people things they were saying, and basically giving you tips um, to help you like right before you get up and speak or right before you get up in front of camera. And because I don't really buy into that much, I really feel like you need the repetition and you need that experience in that environment to get comfortable with doing it. Which is why improv training is great, because we're asked to continually be spontaneous and expressive in front of people, and we learn to get comfortable doing that with the reps. So it's again reps, experience, doing it over and over and over again, and getting comfortable with it. Now, what I would say is that if you could convince this person that has tremendous stage fright and they're about to give a performance, if you could get them to try to channel or play someone other than themselves, and let me clear that up a little bit. If they could get out of their own head and maybe play someone that they know really well and come about it from their point of view or characteristic, they could be successful. The problem would probably be their lack of experience in being able to do that and being able to for them to buy in to it themselves. But we use this training technique in improv, and we're going to be doing it tomorrow in class, which is giving yourself the quality and characteristics of someone else that you know really well, and you're going to channel them through you and respond from their point of view. So you don't have to think. It's a great tool. We're going to work on it tomorrow. And the other thing I wanted to highlight today, and I'm not doing another take on this video. I've already shot it like 5 times. I'm going nuts, and they all suck. So this is one. So the other thing I want to talk about is raising the stakes and heightening scene work. So generally in improv, in amateur improv, when we're learning, there's two extremes. There's crazy town, where we're coming up with absurd premises that aren't grounded in reality, and they just don't make any sense. And we see that a lot. And then the other side of that spectrum is a total slice of life scene where we're just having a conversation, like an everyday conversation, which isn't particularly interesting either. Both aren't that great. I encourage you to gravitate more toward the slice of life scene. Play it grounded, play it real, be authentic. But in that context, we do want to find a way to raise the stakes. We want to heighten the scenario. So we don't want to go to crazy town, but great ways to do this are you and I statements. How do I feel? I feel this way, and we can be truthful about it. Or we can read our partner. Hey, I perceive you as this. So if I have an emotion, your job is to try to heighten that emotion in me, and my job is to try to heighten the emotion that you're portraying. So those are two ways we can do it. The other thing, if there's two people at a bus stop and we're having a slice of life scene, maybe one of the players really has a lot of stakes to getting for the bus being on time. He needs to get to work. He needs to get to his job interview. It's really important. That's a way to kind of heighten and raise the stakes. Maybe someone's life is dependent on it. Who knows? But that's a way to literally raise the stakes and go back to this conversation they're having at the bus stop with these high stakes, and then the bus doesn't show up, and we call an Uber, and the Uber doesn't show up, and we can kind of find heightening and absurdity there. If we are in a date scene, again, we can find you or I statements which create emotions, and then we can find ways to heighten that emotion in that other person. If they're scared, if they're nervous, if they're really happy, how can we inflate that and make them more of that? Or we create stakes. So we're in a date scene, and maybe I don't know. We've got two people with different religions, and they're very orthodox, and one's Mormon, and one's whatever. And that's a context where we can find that in the scene and create a heightened environment. So those are some tips. Those are some things to think about. I know it's a lot when we're in the heat of an improv scene. It's stressful enough. It's hard to have that consciousness, but things slow down. The more reps we do, the more present we become in that scene, and we know what levers we kind of need to be pulling so that we can find an ultimate improv scene, which is to very quickly find out who, what, and where we are, how we're feeling, and how can we really blow those emotions out. And that's where it's fun to play, and that's where the audience can have a good time too. Okay, I'm out. We're going to work on those things tomorrow. Hope to see you there.